Hi everyone, it's Diana, and this is going to be a recap for a lot of weeks. You ready? It's going to be a recap for 28, 29, 30, and 31. I am going to be turning 32 weeks tomorrow. Wow. So I have definitely a lot to talk about, and I'm going to jump right into it so that I don't take a lot of time. Alright. So I left off last time at 27 weeks where I had mentioned that I was going to be going in for an ultrasound because my fundal height was measuring a little large and the doctor wanted to make sure that everything was okay. The ultrasound, everything was perfect. Baby was measuring within the 60th percentile, a little bit larger, but nothing crazy where, the doctor should be concerned at all. But this is the crazy part. I go in, and I don't know if you guys remember, but I had mentioned in my last video that I was going to have to go by myself. And I went, and the lady, usually they've been really good about keeping me from the back ultrasound room, specifically the one where they told me with my last pregnancy that everything had gone horribly wrong. So I usually have one ultrasound technician, and this lady knows who I am, and she keeps me in the first room. Well, this lady, I don't know where she came from, but I get angry with just thinking about it. She took me all the way to the back, to specifically the room where they did the ultrasound and the last time, with my other pregnancy. And I laid on that bed, you guys, I started having an anxiety attack, and I didn't even know it. The lady was like, "Are you okay? Are you okay?" I'm like, at first I was just like, yeah, I'm okay. She's like, "The baby's perfectly fine. She's showing me all this stuff." And for the first time ever, had I ever had an ultrasound where I could care less about the darn screen and I wanted to just run out of that room. And she kept asking me, "What's wrong?" I'm like, "You know what? I think it's this room. I think this room is just bringing back a lot of memories and it's making me very anxious." And she's like, "Oh, well, let's build some new memories." And I'm looking at this lady like, I don't want to build new memories. I want to get the heck out of here. And I walked out of there. Mind you, I was a beet red. I have olive complexion. For me to get really, really red, it takes a lot. I was just beet red everywhere, and I started getting really, really dizzy. I couldn't breathe right. They had to take me. I stepped out of the room and I was so disoriented, I didn't know where I was going. They ended up taking me, a nurse that had come across me. She's like, "Are you okay?" She ended up taking me to the stress test room to lay down for a little bit because my blood pressure, and I don't know, it's so weird, but my blood pressure goes down. I don't know how that works, but it just kind of sank. I don't know, you would think it would go up, but whatever. For me, it just kind of sank. And they took my blood pressure and they're like, "Oh yeah, no wonder you feel like you're gonna pass out." So I don't know. I don't know what happened. All I can think of is, that room, that lady keeping me in that room, and I didn't even know I was having an anxiety attack until I walked out, and I was just, I don't know, ready to pass out. But that was that. I mean, all in all, the ultrasound, with the baby, it went great, but me, not so great. And I think that might be the last ultrasound I'll be getting. The doctor can pretty much feel baby J just by touching my belly. She knows he's head down and he's average size. He's a little bit bigger, but nothing crazy where I'm not going to be able to deliver vaginally. And yeah, that was that. Let's see. After that, I went through a phase where I didn't feel the baby move as much as I had before. And now I know that they say that this is normal, but the movements, baby J's movements, were really strong and punch kicks type things. And then they kind of just stopped for a little while, and I started getting nervous. So I would call and I'd go in for a stress test. I did that probably two times, and every time, the baby was fine. The doctor just kept saying, well, not the doctor, the stress test person that was there was saying that because the baby's getting larger, the movements are going to start feeling different. And I'm like, well, you would think that the baby's larger, the movements are going to be stronger. So whatever, I went home and started like really concentrating on my baby and like trying to see if I could feel movements and recognize them. And sure enough, right like the next day, I started feeling this child with strong movements. And I'm talking to you about, I could feel his every roll. I know where his butt is. I know where his feet go. It's so funny because before, when I used to hear like other pregnant women talk about like, oh, look, this is the butt. And I'm like, how do you know? You totally can tell. I know where he's positioned, and I know when he rolls from one side to the other. Specifically, like when I lay down, you could see my belly kind of like a lump. You see where he's laying down, so it's kind of neat in that sense. But yeah, the movements haven't started hurting just yet. The only movements that really hurt are when he kicks my crotch area, and that leaves me honestly gasping like, oh my god, this child. Honestly, those kicks leave me thinking that this child is going to come out, and I have to squeeze my legs tight together because it hurts. It really hurts my down below area. What else has been happening? I've been having really strong braxton hicks contractions, and I'm not talking to you about what I was getting before. Like before, there were like my belly would get hard, cramp up, and kind of go back, and I would get a little bit nervous because I was having way too many within a short period of time. Now it is intense. Like if this is just false labor, practice labor, oh man, I don't even want to look, like I don't even want to think about what real labor is going to be like. But then they have these days, honestly, where I get so many of them that I get frustrated, and I'm just thinking, come on labor, bring it on, because I keep thinking I'm going to be having this false labor for how many more weeks? For 8 more weeks, possibly, like at most 8 more weeks. I just want to bring this on. Like I want this baby here. I definitely want my baby to cook, and, for as long as possible and be healthy, but those strong Braxton Hicks contractions can get very intense, and I can see how it can be mistaken for real labor because they get very intense, and at times they get very close together, and just when I think, oh, I'm gonna have to go to the hospital, they ease off. And I've been drinking water for it, and just been trying to like walk around whenever I start feeling like my stomach is getting too tight. And generally that will help. So that's how I know it's false labor. If after doing all of that good stuff it's still not working, then I'll definitely go in. But actually at one of the times that I had gone in for like the Braxton Hicks, the doctor measured me. You know how when they measure like between the, what do you call it, the head and the vaginal whatever, like the birth canal ordeal, mine was measuring 3.5, and I guess that was really good. And the doctor honestly couldn't tell me why I was having so many like false labor contractions. And this wasn't my doctor, that was the on-call labor and delivery doctor. She was just like, rest, drink lots of fluid, and if you can't sleep at night, take like allergy medicine that makes you groggy and makes you sleep. And as many of you already know, I don't really like taking medication, but I'm not going to take allergy medicine to go to sleep. I'll just tough it out, whatever.